Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Career Review for You.
Who?
I am John. This is you.
Jennifer.
And the other two.
The other two.
Are we
We're
Dr.
just here.
Seuss?
We're the spares.
Kill the spares.
Kill the spare.
Long live the spares.
These spare guys.
That's right. These spares aren't going anywhere.
I hope y'all have had a wonderful week. Because we have. Because we're all four here, alive. And Ashley's in the back, alive as well.
It's all five.
What a great day.
It is.
Fortunately, yeah.
So, what's new with you guys?
We went to the beach last week. Missed being here on
That's
the
true.
podcast.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
It was a great week.
It was weird not having you on.
It was.
Yeah.
We tried.
I watched it
Greatly
though. I did a
missed.
good job.
Even though you don't like
We
Star Wars?
tried.
Yeah. I skipped through most of the Star Wars
Oh, okay.
part so I could hear like
So much of the
the
episode.
stories. I was just listening. I was like, oh, that's Star Wars. I heard the ratings. I heard the beginning, and we didn't get too burnt. So
That's always a
Ashley
win.
actually got pretty burnt. I kind of lied. That was bad.
Gotcha.
So it was
Those
pretty bad.
beach days, they get you.
Yeah.
But it was a wonderful trip, and it was terrible coming back. But good to be here with all of my close crew friends.
Yeah. What about you, Beth? What'd you get into?
I got to hang out in your pool, which was nice.
You did. You did.
A pool day is always
That's
good.
what I was going to say we did, was we just been chilling in the pool.
A lot.
Yeah. And we helped Jennifer's brother and sister-in-law move in today into their apartment.
They're
It was
finally
really hot,
close to
But
home.
we were happy to do it, and it was a good time.
They're finally
There was
back in
pizza.
Greenville.
Oh,
Pizza.
pizza's always a win.
Pizza.
That was
Yes.
John's favorite part, was pizza.
Pizza.
My favorite food is pizza.
You will do anything for pizza,
I
I
will.
feel like. I'm just throwing that
Pretty
statement
much.
out there.
Pretty much. Anyway, this week we reviewed Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, which is the sequel to Maleficent.
The end.
What was it?
I can't remember if there was a subtitle or
I'm
not.
pretty sure that's
There's
it.
not. It's
Okay.
just Maleficent. Well done.
Thanks.
Good dramatic pause.
Yeah. So, anything else we need to say before we turn over to the spoiler zone?
I don't know.
Give
I'm
me
here
a
for
sound.
Maleficent.
Let's get spoiled.
Let's get
Spoilers.
spoiled. Spoilers. Here we go.
I did that last year. Not last year, last week for
Last
you.
week. I watched that
Last
part.
Proud.
Was channeling you.
Hit it, Beth. What's this movie about?
Yes. So Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, is a sequel to Maleficent. As we said, Maleficent came out in 2014. Mistress of Evil came out in 2019. And in the original film, we find the origin story of Maleficent and how she came to be the villain that we all know and fear. And that she was not only the one who cursed Aurora, but she was actually the one who broke the curse with true love between mother and daughter. So this movie picks up 5 years later, which is interesting because the release date was literally 5 years later. Aurora is now Queen of the Moors and madly in love with Prince Philip, and the movie opens with Prince Philip proposing. It was really sweet and cute. And then invites Aurora and Maleficent over to dinner to meet his parents. So the King John, which is
That's me.
which is you, yeah.
the
He's
king.
super excited about the union, the peace that it's going to bring the two kingdoms. But Queen Ingrid, not Ingrid, but Ingrid, is not happy about it. She cloaks it, but she's got a secret plan happening. So she kind of provokes Maleficent over dinner. Maleficent gets angry, uses some of her magic, and then Queen Ingrid accuses her of cursing the king with a sleeping curse. It was not a good moment in time. Maleficent escapes, gets shot down with an iron bullet, and just when we think she's not going to make it, a dark fae swoops in and saves her from the ocean. So then we find out that Maleficent's people are dark fae. They've been driven into hiding from humans into this cave. We'll talk about this cave because I have a lot to say about this cave. And then we find out that they kind of want to use the wedding as an excuse to wage war on the humans, while Queen Ingrid is using it to wipe out all the Moor people. So then this big massive battle happens, and in the middle, Aurora and Philip realize it wasn't Maleficent who's caused all the trouble, it was actually the Queen. So they're able to rescue the Moor people from death in this massive chapel, which was really sad. They wake up King Philip from the sleeping curse, and then with the help of Maleficent, all three of them are able to stop the war and bring peace. And then we wrap up the movie with Aurora and Philip's wedding, which is really sweet. a happily ever after ending.
The end.
It's in the end.
Well
Good
done, Beth.
stuff, good
well done.
Yes.
Yeah. What kind of questions we got?
All sorts.
All sorts.
So there's a couple points I want to touch on that also have to do with the first movie. They're in this movie, they just touch. You know, they changed some names from the original Sleeping Beauty. What are some names they changed? Trivia for you.
The fairies.
The fairies, they do not have the same names. It's Periwinkle.
Flitwick, Knotgrass, and
Not grass.
Knotgrass is one of them.
Is that the green one?
Maybe.
Because that would be pretty
And then
cool.
there's like another, I forget, they're all like grass names kind of.
It's a little
I'm sure
different.
it's like
Yeah.
tied in
Because
a
it was
knot.
Flora, Fauna, and Merriweather.
Yes.
Oh.
So we have some different names, which was introduced in the first one. But then King John, Prince
That's
Philip's
me.
father, was not King John
No.
in the original Sleeping Beauty. King Humphrey?
I feel like, because we had Stefan, which was accurate. Her
Yeah.
father was accurate. But they did change his name.
I left my computer at home, but I'm going to have to use my phone. Sorry. To look up some of
What-
this stuff.
Why was so Prince Philip was the lover in the first one too, right?
Yes.
Why did they wait
Different-
5 years?
To get married?
Yeah.
No idea. I said that when it came
I was
out.
like, that.
5 years is a long
And then they
time.
wait 3 days to get married from being engaged.
Engagements.
5 years. He is
What the heck?
dragging his feet.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So, and then oh yeah, another question I had was at one point they mentioned she already has a castle.
Yes.
She is in the forest. Where's her castle?
So
Did they show it?
her dad's castle in the
Oh,
first
I thought
one.
that they meant your
and
Queen of
then,
the North. You
and
have your
then
own.
so she has her like outside castle too.
Which is where she
in
was
the
in at
moors.
the beginning?
Yes.
Because that wasn't a castle, that was a
Well,
a seat in the grass.
She was holding court. We didn't actually see this castle, but apparently it's awesome and it's outdoorsy.
If I don't see it,
How
I
do we
don't
know it's
believe
awesome?
it.
Because Prince Philip says it's beautiful, but we haven't seen it.
I don't really trust a lot he says. I really didn't like
I was
him
gonna
in
say
this
he could
movie.
be a liar for all we know.
We did have a switch.
We had a
on-
casting switch.
A casting switch.
Yeah.
With
Different
Prince
Philip
Yeah.
from the first one. I didn't know. I don't know
why I
why.
can't trust him.
But
That's why,
we
yeah,
had a-
that's why you can't trust him. He can't keep his same face.
You know, I bet it's actually a different guy pretending to be Prince Philip. He's
Polyjuice
just fooled
potion.
all the more people.
That's what's been happening
It was
for
never
5
revealed in the
years.
movie.
The real Philip is locked up in the original castle.
That's right. That's the thing.
He's waiting for Aurora to come wake him up
Oh
while
my
this
God.
That's the
imposter's
thing.
been hanging out.
King Hubert in
Hubert.
the original.
Huey.
And now he's John.
What a fun
So I
name.
guess
Hubert.
Hubert
obviously,
wasn't a cool enough name.
obviously they felt like John was a superior name to Hubert, as we would all agree.
Yes.
So
I will say both of those Maleficent movies, it was hard to get past those jawbones.
she
cheekbones.
does have some
I don't like it.
some high
Oh.
cheekbones.
It was hard for me to get past.
I didn't mind it. I thought she looked amazing.
I think she looked pretty good.
I mean,
It makes
she's
me
the
think of,
only
like-
reason I like this movie.
Fish.
Wow.
When people do that,
It's
that's what it
impressive
makes
to
me
see
think
that
of.
through the beard.
Yeah, good job.
I'm just that good.
Well done. Well done.
If you're on the audio podcast,
Here's
just
me.
go to
Yeah.
Facebook to see what I did because it was worth it.
Was
That
it?
timestamp. We'll let them be the judge.
Well, yeah.
They can give me the crew
Comment
review.
below. Was it worth it?
Was it worth
Was
it?
it worth it?
Yes.
Ugh,
It's worth it.
That's funny. Well, yeah, I get the jawbone or the cheekbones were rather high and could be a little off-putting. For me, it just didn't distract from her whole look. I didn't think it made it or broke it, but I really like her general look.
Ugh.
And her
Let's
outfit
talk
choices
about-
are good.
Well, dude, she had a lot of costume changes. She needs to keep her hair down. It looked good.
I
was
know,
like,
that's
why'd you
what
put your
Ashley
why'd
said.
you put your thingy back on?
I loved it down.
She looks
was
really
so
good
good.
with her.
So good.
She could still look amazing
Yeah.
in black, you know,
Yeah.
with their hair.
So,
down.
okay. I guess we'll just dive in. We'll probably jump around.
Let's get in there.
But we have this whole thing in the beginning where Aurora tells her to cover up her horns, which rude. Aurora.
I was
that's your
not
mother.
having Aurora or Philip in this one both.
No. But we'll come back to them.
Yeah.
We'll come
Circle
back to
back.
them. So
We'll
we
circle
have this
back.
whole Maleficent's hiding her horns. She's trying to please Aurora. all this stuff. Then we find out that she actually has a people group and has the Dark Fae, which is awesome. They all have wings and horns like her, and her hair's down, and she looks amazing. She looks amazing. And so it's like she's stepping into who she truly is, which is great. And then all of a sudden she's back with her hair back up. I don't understand this.
I don't either. I don't know why I think she's definitely taken her place as the kind of leader of the Dark Fae.
Yeah.
Their whole thing is they're in hiding. They've been suppressed by the human world. They want to have a war so they can come back to their land. So I definitely think, although it's not verbalized, and the guy who I guess was kind of their leader, moral voice, who kind of held him down, is killed in the movie, protecting Maleficent.
Yeah.
Or, as I like to say, Maleficent. But which, although we didn't hear it in this movie, in the first movie, King Stefan has a really awkward
Weird
accent.
voice.
Now,
Maleficent.
it was kind of cool how he died and they did the whole grass thing. But why the heck didn't they just use little magic tears to bring him back to life and turn into a phoenix and save the day?
So I was waiting for this because he literally tells Maleficent, you're the last person with the power of the phoenix. The power of life and death is in you.
But I don't think that is for others. It's just for her.
She's selfish.
It's not her fault.
But also, like, I feel like she could have healed him.
She also
I thought
didn't
that's what they
have-
were going to do when they were all putting their arms like on the
Yeah.
ground. I was like, oh, they're healing him.
Do you know what the
They were
scene
burying him
reminds me?
alive.
Well, she wasn't a phoenix yet, though. He was still trying to get her to embrace. So I don't think she could have done it. But even if she could, she doesn't become the phoenix till later on.
And by the way, that's really random. Like out of nowhere, what's this phoenix crap that they just came up with? And how do all of her people know about it? What is the history of her powers? How come she's the only one that has it? Later on,
John gets some
I'm unloading here.
Here we go.
Later on
Okay.
in the war, they say she's the only one with powers, but then they're able to move vines over the wall, so apparently they do have powers. What is happening?
They never said she was the only one with powers. With that power, she showed her green energy. And if you notice, I don't know like what the green energy is. Okay, she's got the power to do the vine. Like we see in the first movie, she can control nature. It's a branch of fairy. They're a branch of a fairy. They have control over nature, pieces like that. But if you notice, when she becomes the phoenix, the green is no longer green. It's the goldish orange, like a phoenix fire.
No.
So that power has changed from being Mistress of Evil, I guess, into embracing the phoenix. And we don't see the green glowy power in anybody else. It's very kind of surface level of her people. I don't get, they definitely threw the phoenix piece in there, and I don't know why she would be the only one of her kind like that, but I guess it's the original, it's reincarnated in her.
Also,
I
a lot
guess.
of
they call
questions.
literally everybody in the moor a fairy. Every single breed. We're all fairies. A fairy to me are the three colorful fairies that could change her dress's color. That's a
The
fairy.
trees considered fairies too?
Yeah.
That was
Yes, it
super
was
weird.
weird.
I was like,
What's
why-
a tree?
why-
It's
We
an
talked about
enchanted
that. I was like,
tree.
I don't think they all can be
Or like
fairies.
the little
They can't.
toadstool or Pintu. I liked him. He looked
Her.
like
It's a girl.
That's right.
Oh, the
it's
one
a
that
her.
looked like a hedgehog?
Yes, the one that looks like
Yeah.
Sonic. We had a
She's-
real life Sonic in this
A Sonic
one.
She was
fairy.
very cute.
They're not all fairies. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, but they
They're
called them
not.
fairies,
They
and it was
did.
weird.
One's
I
a
didn't
magic
agree with it.
hedgehog. One's a magic mushroom. One's
True.
One's a tree, an
One's a
enchanted
magic tree.
tree.
One's one of
That-
those,
it
like,
reminds me of
little-
those Lord of the Ring trees. Like the
Yes.
what are they called? There's a name. I'll look it
Groot.
Groot.
up. Groot. Okay, that's even better.
Different universe, but great. Okay, I do have to say, when he was being buried alive, this
Ents. Sorry. Ents from Lord of the
And
Rings.
it's from Lord of the Rings.
While he
Glad
was
you
being
got it.
buried alive.
Yes. It made me think of Pandora.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this feels very familiar. And I was
Yeah.
thinking, he's going to be healed. This is what they did in Pandora.
Oh yeah, I was thinking.
And
that
they're all
too.
chanting and becoming one with the earth or whatever. And
Hippies.
Ewok.
they
I-
didn't channel any energy to help him.
I don't get how they couldn't have healed him. Like, I don't. So, in the first one, Maleficent is literally covered in a cage of iron, in that iron net, for a while.
Yes.
You know? And then one
Tiny
iron bullet.
little bullet.
And I guess the thought is that it's in her now.
Pierce
the
your
bullet,
skin,
you know.
yeah.
And I guess that's it with that guy, but I'm like, pull it out. But I
And
guess
that
she
one
can't
guy
pull it out if
just
it's iron.
casually holding it while it's sizzling his skin. It's like holding
Yeah.
dry ice or something.
Yeah.
He's like, this is war.
The whole iron thought, I think, needs a little more like fleshing out.
Fleshing out for
Yeah.
What
sure.
are the rules?
What are the rules? We like rules, and we like for
I
you
just
to stick
need
to
to
the
know,
rules.
like, how does this work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it wasn't consistent.
Yeah.
And maybe it was. I just need to know the rules.
Yeah.
And then apparently if you put iron with the power of the dead flowers, it explodes into red explosion chemistry, whatever.
Little traitor.
That little traitor. And then they forgave him so quickly.
He was like, you know, well, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say. He came up, no, and he was like, all curses have to be broken, or whatever he said.
Oh,
And I was like,
yes.
he's standing right there. Rip his head off. Do you all not know what's like happened, what's transpired? Take care of this little dude.
He's
You can't
the
just pretend to
reason
be
you
okay.
all die. You know,
They were too
like
kind
he's
to him.
tortured people, he's murdered people.
They
Like,
gave him
rude.
and the queen way too many chances. I was
Yeah.
like, that she should have died. And
So
then
queen.
she
So
got
mad
she
about
got
the
away off
queen.
way too easy. She got to be a
He
goat.
turned into a goat. I was like, do something.
I know
with
it's a
her.
kids movie, but or more. It's a more
but we've
filtered
killed
movie.
people
but
off in other
Yeah.
Disney movies.
Well, they killed off one of the good fairies in this movie.
They did.
Yes.
The blue one.
Okay.
who
While
would
we're
have
talking
been
about the
Mary
blue
Ellen.
one, by the way, when at the very end when they keep changing her dress color again, it's between pink and green and pink and green, and then it's blue, and I'm like, that fairy is already gone.
Well, so
How
I
does
don't
she
know
have
though. They showed
powers?
The blue flower.
flowers. I don't know if she's like
Being reborn.
Or maybe Maleficent has her powers now. I can.
If that was the case, wouldn't every single one of
all
those
the
other
other
ones that
fairies
were in
have
that
been
church
recovered too?
They might be
Yeah.
growing back. You don't know.
Yeah,
You didn't
I
see
don't
the tree.
know. I didn't.
I didn't see the tree. Either one of
Who
them.
knows? I will
But
say
it
the
was
first time
weird.
I saw that, I really liked that part though, because it's a nod to the original when they changed the
I
dress
like
back
it,
and forth.
but I'm
And
like
we were robbed at this
confused
moment
about it.
in
The first
Maleficent.
one.
We were robbed at the dress colors, and I
Yeah.
was mad about it. So they did make it up, but it was
And it
a
was
little-
sweet, and she sacrificed her. That part makes me cry.
That was great.
When she-
I'm like, this is brilliant. She's saving her family and friends. This is perfect.
I don't get though why they can't do more. They didn't do more to the queen when her little hench woman who was playing the organ. Gerda.
What a great name.
Was that her name?
Gerda? Gerda.
How is Gerda taken care of? They throw her off
Off
a
the
balcony,
balcony.
Yes.
and she falls to
That's
her
what
death.
needed to happen to the queen.
And I'm like, if you can do that, you can do that to the queen.
Jeez.
Whatever.
She got off way too easy. I needed some justice.
Some justice.
And another thing that I had a problem with was the war was so heavily one-sided. Like, it didn't give me satisfaction to see. I mean, yeah, they won in the end, but it was like
It's more of a
so
bloodbath.
many. Yeah, it was just a massacre, which is what they called it, a massacre. And then at the very end, they're just like, okay, let's stop.
I didn't understand how they were able to expect or anticipate that number of dark fae.
Yeah.
Because Maleficent is shot and Gerda shoots her and says they're, reporting to the queen. The queen wants Maleficent's head, and she says there was another creature. What did it look like? Her. All right? You've seen
Two.
two. Then we have a moment in the woods with some of the guards after they've taken all the tomb blooms. And so the guards could have witnessed that moment.
But there's only
with
three there.
Three.
Yeah.
One is killed. They shoot one, so we're back down to
Two.
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 Unless they're assuming that they're going to heal this one. So anyway, I don't know. Three that they've seen. And they're set up for all of them.
Yeah.
I don't get that one.
Yeah.
Does that make
there's-
sense?
No,
don't know.
I
They
100%
were
agree
very
with
well
that.
prepared for
Yeah.
a number of different scenarios to happen.
Also, fairies have power. Why weren't they using more power? They use it to grow the vines. I feel like, but they've also like moved a few things with their power. I just don't think they utilize it again as well as they should have. Like Gandalf in Lord of the Rings. Sometimes he slams down his staff and knocks out
Yeah.
500 people.
It is sometimes he just acts superhuman. It's like, oh, we can't do anything. Let's run.
Yeah, and I'm like, excuse you, you just used your staff. Just do that a couple more times and this battle is over.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
Yeah.
Inconsistent magic
He has a
always
power
bothered.
level that he has to recharge like a video
I
game.
mean, if that's fine. That's fine if that's the case. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know how powerful they are, and
Right.
I mean, it implies that once they started those vines growing and they were being bombarded, like they would even like recede. So their
Right.
magic wasn't even lasting. So Maleficent is by far way more powerful than
Right.
these jokers put together.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes.
So I
She
mean,
is. I just need some. Again, I need some rules.
we need some rules.
I
We
need to
some
understand
measures.
the logic of this world.
If you're gonna, and they dove deeper. The first one didn't really like make you think a lot about where she came from at all.
Yeah.
Those pieces. So if you're gonna dive deeper into this, you have to build it well. And I don't know if it was built as well. Saying all this though, I did really like this movie because Angelina Jolie is wonderful as Maleficent.
She's
the best Maleficent.
Oh,
I find it hard to believe that she didn't know that her entire people group was that close, by the way.
They're so close. I'm like, how far
For
away
years
are they?
and years and years, they're literally right there.
and no one reaches out to her. Rude.
How rude!
I know.
Like he dives in and saves her. So clearly they're keeping watch. They should have heard rumors, right? They're in the vicinity. They should have heard the rumors or seen some things. Like, why are they not sending out scouts? That is so rude to leave her all alone.
Well, where is she from? Like, I don't remember. The first one doesn't address that at all.
Yeah, it didn't.
So,
No,
like,
she's just
It
in
showed
the
her when she was
somebody-
younger, but
somebody, like, should be missing a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no one wanted to, like, phone a friend, help me find my child. Like, where did she come from? She's in their line, She said her parents were dead in the first one.
Yeah. But
Well, they didn't know her parents were dead? Or maybe this is a branch that left the nest. Who knows?
I don't know. But I just
Anyway.
feel like with them being that close and being able to like swoop in and save her, they should have like been aware enough that she existed.
Well,
Yeah.
they did know. They had to know she
Because
existed.
they also wanted to take over her land.
But
so,
they were in the moors killing the guards who were
Yeah.
trying to take, I mean, rightfully so, like take the fairies.
yeah.
I don't know how they heard about that,
right.
but you can see that. And especially, at the beginning, you just see that happen. You don't see her, and it kind of backs up, and you see the shadow of the horns. It's definitely different horns, not her horns. But, they had to know she was around.
Right.
And I thought, you can assume they're kind of close, but also, like, it never really shows. I'm thinking through, as I'm watching the movie, I was thinking that they're kind of close. I'm like, it could be farther. It could just take them a long time to get there. But the battle starts, and Maleficent is still back there with that guy, dying. And then
Why
she's able
wouldn't
to
you
come and
wait for
save
your
the
greatest weapon before you started the battle?
day.
I
guess
really
thought
need
she
to
would-
know
Yeah,
this.
that's
Well,
a
he
good
was
question.
he
They
was
look-
ready to go. He was ready to go.
I mean, like, I get you got the momentum going, but you've literally said she's going to make the difference. She's going to be the
Yeah.
reason we win. Why would you leave your
It
greatest
was so
weapon
cool when
behind?
she did come in.
Yes.
Though. That was
oh
awesome.
my goodness.
Solid
Before and
entrance.
after she
The
was a
girl knows
phoenix,
how to make a
both of
difference.
them.
Yeah.
She was awesome.
I agree. It was pretty awesome.
And then she just looked really good.
And even though there's so much unexplained in this movie, like cinematically, it was just really cool. Like how they did
Beautiful.
everything. It just all the scenes.
It was
all
well
the
done.
scenes. And the castle was massive. Every time they would show like a wide of the castle, it's like holy
It's really
crap!
pretty,
This
too.
Big
to
one.
make Cinderella look like a peasant again.
Back to it.
Poor Cinderella can't get a break.
That's funny.
Oh man. So okay, let's talk for a moment about Aurora and Philip.
Let's hear it, Beth.
Kinley.
Bring it. Bring it.
I can't buy into this. And I'm like, this is Maleficent's story. And Angelina Jolie does such a great job of like, I am here. I am on Maleficent's side. I got your back. I'm emotionally invested. But with the way this movie plays out, I should be emotionally invested in Aurora and Philip. And really, I'm just like, y'all are annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I
They
don't
were.
feel the love.
Yeah,
I don't
there wasn't a good connection. I mean,
like you're dumb.
which, I mean, granted, you didn't always have to have a connection in that time for
Right.
they would marry just
but
for
5 years.
But 5 years.
And theirs was supposed to
and
be.
it's a Disney movie. They're supposed to be in love, and they weren't.
Yeah.
It's just you could tell. You could tell.
Well, and I just kept going, I can't believe they're falling for this with stuff from the Queen.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't believe you're like, especially for Aurora, for her to, and you need to make sure you pick up on this, folks. The night that Maleficent goes to meet Philip's parents is the night Aurora meets her parents. She'd never been before. I wasn't sure
5
after I
years.
watched it the first time, but I watched when they come, they've definitely, it's an introduction.
Yeah.
It's awkward how
Aurora-
it's like they had them come in one at a time, and then they close the door. It's just like, all right, let me meet him real quick. All right,
And now
next.
you can. Like, we're best friends now.
Yeah.
But like she has. How long did this dinner last? It didn't get very far. 10 minutes.
Maybe.
And then she takes the Queen's word over Maleficent's. And I'm like, what a terrible person. After everything Maleficent has done for you.
I know.
After everything.
I know. Maleficent raised you, and yes, she cursed you, but she also made it right. Like, you had a terrible father, so she really did you a favor in
Yeah.
that one.
But she's Aurora's Queen of the Moors. This is 5 years after the first movie. She's known Maleficent
Her
a
whole
long
life.
time, her whole life, right? Known her really close and well for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
She knows when Maleficent's going to curse somebody. That was not a curse. That was obviously Maleficent did not do
And
that.
she doesn't lie to her. She's pretty straightforward with Aurora, and she said, I didn't do it.
She would have owned up to it if she did.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I did love the part where the cat came up the table and she control your
Control
beast,
your beast.
or I will. And she said something like, or it may have not been there, but she said the Queen said, "Is that if I didn't know better, I would think that was a threat." And Maleficent said, "Well, do you?" She said, "Well,
I love her
know
sass.
better."
Know
I'm
better.
like,
Yeah.
So great.
slay.
That was such a great line. I also love when her and Aurora first come to the kingdom, and she's like, pitchforks, humans are hilarious.
They're all like watching. Yeah.
I loved how they walked across that bridge, too.
bridge.
That was cool. She's
Yeah.
like, let me just make a bridge.
Yeah.
A great moment.
That
I
was
really
good.
like Diaval too.
He's a great
Yeah,
character.
I do like him.
I love the choice for both movies, set up in the first one, to have him, be a human, have her turn him so he's more than just the Raven,
Right.
from the original.
Now,
He's a
Jennifer
character.
and I couldn't remember. Did he start as a Raven or
Okay,
as a human?
so this is what gets me, because he started as a Raven.
Okay.
When Maleficent fell, there was something after she was shot. Something happened with somebody else, like the magic went away or something. I can't remember. It was turned back. I don't remember. But Diaval should have been turned back into a raven,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he was
Yeah.
not into his natural form. I can't remember
It's
who
when
else
she
was.
well, it's when she got hit with the bullet and she's flying and her power's going in and out.
Right. I'm just trying to think of what else happened that something went to his. Oh, her stick.
stick.
Yeah.
Her stick went back
Turned
to
into
the
a stick.
stick.
Yeah.
So I was like, anything she should turn, then should be turning back right now.
Right.
Like
And he's
Diaval.
stuck.
And he did fade from Raven to person, but landed as a person on the ground.
Maybe I need to rewatch the
But
first
she
one.
didn't die, so I feel like if she had died, like he would have been back to a Raven, and it would have.
But he was a raven and turned into a person. I don't know. I gotta rewatch the first one because
Did they take the first one off Disney Plus?
yeah, it's never been on
Oh, it
Disney
never
Plus.
was.
So I think Netflix still has the rights to it,
Oh.
and it's not on Netflix, but they have the rights. I think Netflix
Okay.
does. It'll be coming to Disney Plus
When your rights were
October.
over.
Gotcha.
It's not
Disney
streamable
Plus
anywhere.
is confusing me because
is.
they had all of the pirate movies on there except for the fourth one. And then they take away the fifth one and put the fourth one on.
I
I was
know.
like, the fourth one was already there. Why'd you take it from me? You should be keeping it on there.
Who knows?
Keeping you on your toes.
Getting you worked up.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Disney Plus.
Anyway, what else are we going to talk about?
I want to talk about this cave.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
That the
Is it really a
they were
cave?
in.
I didn't think so.
And also, like,
Some
like
kinda-
a treehouse.
Yeah, I thought it was a giant.
Giant
I thought it was like a
treehouse.
giant hive, like a massive.
it's kind of like a
hive
giant bird
of-
nest. It's kind of like what
Yeah.
it felt like. But
I
then,
think
like,
it's-
they go
see what they
out,
did
and
there.
it's supposedly it's still a cave. But we've got the desert, we have the jungle, we have all these different.
Yeah, what the heck?
terrains.
How's
Where
this
are we?
magical ecosystem under here? It's definitely implied that it's below the water.
Yeah, because he's like, our children have never flown in the sky, and I'm like, if you have all of this below the water, without human interference. Like, why would you give that up?
It's
It's
not
just like
bad.
Journey to the Center of the Earth, that land in the core of the Earth.
Yes.
That's what that's like.
It is, because they have like sunlight somehow. I don't know how, but like they do. I was like, you have a pretty sweet setup here. Like,
I did like the different
people groups.
People groups.
Yeah.
I
Of
guess.
The phase.
The phase, the mountain
Me and
people,
Jennifer liked the parrot-looking ones.
the parrots
Those were
from
cool.
the
That was
rainforest.
beautiful.
Yes, they have cool wings.
Jungle.
They do have
They were
awesome
cool.
wings.
Yeah, the desert ones kind of scared me because their
Yeah.
skins were all cracky and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Like, he looked like his face looked
If
like
any
a
of them should
desert.
have been evil, it
Moisturize
should have
me.
been them.
Moisturized me.
Moisturize
Yeah.
me.
Doctor Who reference.
Doctor Who. I enjoyed anytime Maleficent does magic. I enjoyed that. Like the scene where she gets mad and like enough, and throws everybody back. Just shows how and powerful she is. And at the end, like we talked about, her swooping in and just it was just really good. I
Yeah,
liked
it
that.
was. She just like, I don't have to put up with this, and she didn't. She just. I love how she just
Queen.
kind of does what she wants and
Yes.
owns it. She's like, it's awesome.
She's in control.
She is.
And there's just like, she just likes to remind you every once in a while, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
So, what's everyone's favorite character? Maleficent. Okay,
Done.
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 I mean, she really is the star of the show.
She is.
And I literally could care less about anybody except for the Fae who was nice to her. Also, okay, she's been alone for her whole life. It's like for like at one point, like when she lost her parents, she's been alone. Then she finds this people group. And then there's like this good chemistry with her and like kind of like the moral compass of the Fae. Like I forget what his name is, but he's like great. And
You only hear it like one time.
yeah, you only hear it one time, but he's really great, and I feel like, oh my gosh, they're forming a connection. Like
got the
maybe
drugs?
Maleficent, yes, like maybe
something with the
Maleficent
C,
will
maybe?
have love. No, she ends up alone again. When will she win? These are her stories. She should have true love.
Yeah, I guess Maleficent's love is for.
Her
His name was
people.
Conall.
I knew it was something with a C.
Conall. Conall. Conall.
It's probably pronounced George.
But I liked it, and then they took it away
We'll
from
go
me.
with that.
I know. I do love
George died.
Maleficent's relationship with Aurora. Like even as much as I hated
Yes.
Aurora, I love that. And at the very end, after Maleficent quote dies, and Aurora cries love tears over her, and I guess she just didn't love.
Is
George.
Aurora a fairy? Is Aurora a fairy too? Because she had magic tears.
No, but
Are we
True Love's
fairies?
kiss, True Love's tears.
These are classic Disney
I feel
things.
like these are stretches, man.
Well,
Stretches.
they are, but whatever. I still, after that part, and she, becomes the Phoenix, and then she can, transform to herself. I love that the line that Aurora has is, well, like when
Yes.
she comes
Yeah.
call back to the original, the first one, just her signature when she comes in, well. And then Maleficent says, hello, beastie.
Yeah.
So,
I
good
thought
parts.
the wedding scene was way too long at the end. I was like, let's get on with it. I felt like it should be chop, chop, wedding.
I liked it.
I would have enjoyed more time
It's too much of a build-up.
to kill the queen. That would have been appropriate.
They waited 5
Yes.
years. It took too long.
Yes.
Yeah, I told Jennifer a much darker ending. I was like, they should have the tree people rip the queen's limbs off, and then they throw them into different lakes of hellfire. And
Sounds
I
great.
was like,
You
this is what she
did.
deserves. But
She was
gotta keep
awful.
it. Was it PG?
She was
I don't know what
awful.
this is.
But I do love how they made you hate her so early in the movie, so you had the whole movie to hate her, and I did
Well,
like.
and I
And then-
appreciate
and then we weren't
when
satisfied.
they
It was
made the
obvious
choice.
evil.
They made the choice to show early on that she's behind all this
Yeah.
stuff, and so especially when right after the king's cursed, Philip's like, maybe True Love's kiss can wake him. Like, go kiss him, mother. She's like, because she doesn't love him,
Yeah.
but she goes and she says something like, you want your peace, rest in peace.
Yeah.
You don't know how, but she's done this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has done this clearly. She's behind it, and I appreciate that. There's Ashley and I were talking about this the other day because we like Murder She Wrote and Matlock, and there's a couple episodes. Matlock does this from time to time where you actually see the crime committed, the murderer set up and do what they're going to do, and the whole episode you're watching Matlock or whoever trying to, sorry, if you're not a Matlock fan, you can get over it, trying to kind of figure out what you know, and you know how it's done and all that. And this one wasn't that far, but you knew it was her, and so you still have the, how did she do it, kind of, fleshes itself out. But they definitely let you hate her from the beginning. And it gives you, by doing that, you have sympathy for Maleficent. They don't make it seem like, you're not ever guessing, I wonder if Maleficent did it, did she curse the king? You never once let that cross your mind, because of the way they set it up.
The original, I just saw that the original story of Sleeping Beauty was written in the 1300s. It's really old.
Yes.
I would like to see a different producer make this like a rated R version.
Well,
or not rated R, but PG-13 at least.
Something darker.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the tales that Disney took these stories from have some
Really
dark.
Which
Cinderella
I didn't realize
is
that
so dark.
until I was like in high school. I think somebody shattered the glass for me, and they were like, Disney didn't originally make these. I was like, wait, what? Yes, they did. They made Peter Pan.
Well, you can look at, and that's why when you look at a story, you're like, okay, what part of this is from the OG? What part did Disney put in? Because they're different aspects.
Isn't The Little Mermaid like a whole lot different?
Oh yeah, they all are.
Cinderella is very violent. Yeah.
There's a lot of, there's a lot that we
The
can't
Grimm's
talk about on
fairy
the show.
tales.
The Grimm's brothers were
And
Dark.
Hans Christian
Grimm's
Andersen.
brothers were
Yeah.
grim.
grim,
So grim.
pretty accurate.
Is that where the term grim comes from, or is it coincidence that that is their name?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Okay.
Look at me like I know the answer.
Just
One
wondered.
of my favorite parts of this movie, though, was the Queen talking towards the end when she, I guess she's talking to Maleficent. No, I guess she's talking to Aurora down in the dungeons. I can't remember, but she says that she started the rumor of Maleficent being evil, because the movie opens. I mean, the first one's concluded. Maleficent broke the spell.
She's the hero.
She created the
Right.
curse, but she also broke it. And so to set it up by saying, like, people are still afraid because they think, she's the one, she's evil. She's the one that cursed. They're not remembering that part. And so the Queen was spreading the story of how Maleficent cursed the baby, and she makes the statement, it doesn't matter who lifted the curse. It doesn't matter that she leave that part out. It doesn't matter. People are so focused on that evil, on the villain, on the first part. They're not leaving room for redemption. And it just speaks a lot, I think, to I don't know. I just thought it was really neat, and that's how they explain it. And that's how it can explain, for us today, how this story came to us, because it's even though Maleficent did lift the curse and is not a bad person, it started because she created the curse, and then here we go. I don't know. I really like that. It was a neat part
I
for me.
didn't know until that point that was why it was called Mistress of Evil. I was like, I still don't get the subtitle at all until she got to that point and was like, it was me the whole time. So, what were we going to say?
I wasn't.
Oh, I thought you'd take a breath like you were about to.
I was just breathing.
Sorry, keep doing that.
Oh man.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, I thought it was good because she basically was like, you spread the rumors, you whip people into a frenzy, and then you give them someone to hate, you pin it on, and people will go crazy.
That her what was that girl's name? Gertrude something.
Gerda.
Gerda.
She was in Fantastic Beasts, the first one.
Oh.
She worked in the orphanage
Yes.
and handed out the pamphlets.
Yes.
I was trying to
Yeah.
place her.
And she's
Proud of
like,
you.
I'll know if you trash them or something like that, like really
She was
creepy.
creepy.
So creepy. So creepy.
She always plays a creepy
I was gonna
character.
say she was creepy in this one too.
There was another.
So I thought that was an interesting choice that they put all the more people in the church. Don't let the humans in because they're gonna take them out. But they just pipe these organ bombs out. I don't understand why wasn't it just in the ceiling where it rained down?
I know. I thought that
Like-
too. I was like, this is so
But
unnecessary.
it's so dramatic.
I appreciated the drama. That one key that had the stuff.
It's this one right here.
I liked that too.
Yeah.
I'm with Kinley. I kind of liked that they had the organ playing and the shoot death
I just
spark.
thought
My
so-
mind was thinking more realistically though. I was like, why didn't they just drop it? Oh,
For a
no.
more efficient killing, yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if to torture them longer, it makes sense to do it with the organ.
Furthermore, people, I was like, y'all, Pay attention.
Y'all are so dumb.
Y'all are dumb.
Y'all are so dumb. There's no one else here. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yes. Also, there are windows. Why aren't we smashing out the windows?
That's a
Thought
good
that.
point. You got a tree.
You
helper
have a
fairy.
tree. You have a lot of small people. So even if the trees couldn't get out, you could get the small people out. I don't know.
They're just not good in a crisis.
They really aren't. They really panic.
Ugh.
Except for the blue fairy, who's normally like really ditzy.
Ditzy.
And she had a good moment of self-sacrifice. But
She did.
I was glad they brought back Umbridge as the pink
Yeah,
fairy.
she's always a good.
oh,
pink
and the
fairy.
fact that she's pink.
Yeah,
it's just
she is.
It's cringeworthy for me.
If she was a different color, it wouldn't have been the same.
They didn't have it. You know, they didn't have a huge role in this one, and we
So
we
sorry.
just see them in their fairy state. They literally didn't have a huge role because they were tiny. Anyway, both
That was so
reasons.
bad.
Thank you. But they, you know, we didn't have any time where they were, you know, human size. They were just the tiny
The
fairies
tiny
and just
fairies.
floated in every now and then. Not a lot. I'm glad we had Umbridge, but they didn't have a lot of screen time. Sadly.
So, what did you think about default being different animals in this one?
I totally called though at the beginning when they're walking through the castle and he sees a bear. Why would he ever turn
Oh, I
him
knew
into
it
a
too.
bear?
I was like, it's gonna come back to
he's gonna
that.
turn him into
He's
a
gonna
bear.
come back to that.
It's gonna happen. But I liked it. I like how he always has the beak nose, and even when he's a human, it's got the lines of the
Like-
beak. Like I like that. That's a
Yeah.
good part.
It was cool.
Yeah.
He's such a good character. It's like there's nothing about him you don't like. So if it wasn't Maleficent, he'd be my favorite character. If we had to choose one besides her.
I love the opening when he comes to tell her that Aurora's engaged.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't
He's
overreact.
like, don't ruin my morning.
But I love how she's like, you know, talking about like, is it yellow fever? And like, like all these horrible things because she clearly
Prince
doesn't.
Philip has yellow fever.
That's so great. Like, don't
And then when she goes to talk to Aurora, and she said, Philip proposed to me. Oh, well, was he very brokenhearted? I was like,
And then she actually
That's
threatens
great.
to turn him into a goat, and then it's the mother who,
this is mother.
you know, again, sad.
Yeah.
The
But
irony.
yeah.
Could have had a little more, so.
Yeah.
So overall, how did you feel about the storyline? Was it satisfactory to you? Were there holes in the storyline?
I think we established that we
have
think
you
there's
not
a
been
lot
hearing?
of holes in the
Oh, I mean,
storyline.
No, I hated
We didn't
it.
like it as much.
It was visually cool.
Yeah.
Story was very not.
It was really flat, wasn't it?
It was
It was-
flat.
The
I
first
did
one's
love-
better.
It was very disappointing.
I did love Maleficent. I'm like, this character is great.
Character's great. The first one was a lot better.
We loved the first one.
Yeah.
We did not like this one as much.
I'm
unfortunately.
just a little disappointed because I don't feel like they didn't have anything to work with.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have done a little better, but then just the whole herd of Dark Fays was just a little much.
Yeah.
I just
So-
felt, I feel like they set up a lot of good elements, and I'm like,
I didn't follow it through.
these are her movies, so why are we going back to humans? Because it would be more interesting for her to for us to see the Dark Fae world, and if she had gotten sucked into that,
Like a
while-
civil war of the Dark Phase. That would have
Yes.
been cool.
that would have been way more interesting, I feel like. Or like the Moor is really cool, but we don't really ever get to spend a lot of time there. It's just like we could have like seen pieces of it, but I would like just seen like the inner workings. What is it like a day like in the Moor?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of things that I think had great elements, but the story just felt flat for me.
Yeah.
But like we said, costumes were on point.
Spot on.
I loved them.
She looked good every level. She looked good.
Yes.
She was a good Mistress of Evil.
I will say the only
Oh,
outfit
man.
that I was disappointed in was Aurora's first wedding dress. So like she was like, the fairies made it for me, but it was so basic.
I thought, did you get
I
that?
had a hard time because you're supposed to kind of hate the queen in that moment
Yeah.
too, where she
Yeah.
doesn't even say no. She just has them bring out the other dress.
Yeah.
I'm like, I ain't mad at her. That dress is pretty
Oh,
terrible.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not a wedding dress.
That was the thing. I was like, as soon as it took me a while to realize that she was actually in her wedding dress because I was like, that's
Like a casual dress.
Yeah, it's like a little summer sundress.
And then they make her a dress at the end, and I'm like, that's so much better. Why would you do
Why
that the
didn't you
first
until it
start
turned
there.
colors and then it
Should have
needed
been
to
white.
stay white.
Should have been white.
But,
But we had to have
They
a
didn't
dress
ask me.
fight.
but
We
the
had to have a color
queen
fight.
was also, even though she was evil, she was super well dressed. I was very concerned about her earlobes, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like she had some massive earrings.
I was
and
too
they were
busy
like,
looking at the thick plate of pearls that she had around
Yes,
her
she
neck.
did have
of
a
like
lot of
her
pearls.
earrings.
And the last,
It was like a
her last
collar.
outfit with the pearls like hanging from there, I'm like, is this like fancy armor? Is this supposed to be like a face guard, like dangling pearls?
I'm like, we went a little
Interesting.
overboard. Like I'm okay with like the hundreds of ones that are on her neck, but like the ones that were draped around her chin were a little much. But I did
Yeah.
like her wardrobe and the way she got into her lair was by breaking the neck of the.
That
Yeah,
threw us off
that was
guard. John
cool.
was like, "Oh, that escalated quickly."
I was like, I think it was a conscious choice.
Yeah,
that she's
absolutely.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Absolutely,
I
like
like
that just speaks to. how
That's her
pristine
anger
is awesome.
management
you
for the
are.
day is like wringing in the
Absolutely.
neck to get into the lair. But,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. Shall we give our reviews for the movie?
Shall.
All right. Starting on that end.
Oh.
I'm gonna give it a 4. That's the lowest number I've ever given a movie.
I was giving it a 5. I think that's also the lowest I've done, but yeah.
I gave it a 4. It was pretty, and I loved Maleficent, but that was about it.
It's fine. I gave this movie a 7 because of Maleficent.
She's
And
worth a 7.
you need to know
She's
it
worth
about
a
me.
7.
Like any Disney villain,
You love.
Maleficent,
The special place
Cruella
in
de
Lisa.
Vil. We've got the
Ursula.
Evil Queen, Ursula, of
Yeah.
course, is my top. Like, it's gonna make it high for me. So that's a 7. And Ashley gave it a 7.5 because of the visual effects. She really liked it.
I mean, it was a gorgeous movie.
It's very pretty.
I just needed some depth.
So our crew review for Maleficent, Mistress of Evil is 5.5. But the first one was better.
Loved the
It
first
was.
one.
Watch the first one.
It will be
And-
streamable in October.
Super.
You
And
wait.
it's worth a watch just to see Maleficent and her
I will
fabulous
say,
outfits.
it was worth watching once. I don't know if I'll watch it again, but
There are certain
IDK.
movies that
IDK.
like you think we give it a low rating and we think we shouldn't have watched that. Or I don't know if I ever think that about a movie. Actually, I always
I'll
like
give
to watch
every
it.
movie a first try.
But there's some that you feel
I've
better
had
about.
some that I never want to watch.
the only time I don't
was
is
disappointed
if
that I
somebody's
watched.
already seen it and they're like, "Do not watch this movie."
But
Like
we-
that weird one y'all told me not to watch.
Okay,
about
I was
the
about to say
downsizing.
downsizing
Yeah.
is. I have felt that way about
I
downsizing.
regret that life choice.
Do not go see Downside. We will not even waste an episode of the review on that.
I'm gonna
movie.
go there.
Yeah. So for the next one, we haven't decided yet. So stay tuned to stay tuned to social media,
Yep,
and we
do
will
it.
tell you.
Nice.
Beautiful.
We closing out.
Let's close
We
it
are.
out.
Take it away, Kinley. We missed you.
All right, folks. Until next time, we go big tonight.